Live with Ty starts now.
Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of Live with Ty. We are joined by
Kendall Morris.
And she is in the lovely city of San Francisco, the new home of Live with Ty. We made the studio probably in the last 30 minutes. But you know, what we're going to do, what we usually do here, and we're going to talk business, and we're going to inspire you guys. So, Kendall, what brings you to San Francisco?
Well, first and foremost, I'm here visiting my lovely daughter.
Okay. She's behind the camera. We can't see her.
She is about to graduate from college, so
Okay.
I'm really proud of her.
Awesome. You should be.
And I'm also here working, so
Okay.
I partner with a college at
Okay.
the northern part of the state called Cal Poly Humboldt.
Okay, got you.
And we
I've heard that
partner
one.
with College Corps,
Okay.
part of California Volunteers.
Okay.
And we were just here for what is called Pitch Fest,
Okay.
which is this awesome event where the students who are called fellows in the
Uh-huh.
College Corps program, they pitch ideas to judges who
Okay.
are leaders in the state of California.
Yeah.
And they are pitching for funding
Okay.
for a idea for the nonprofit that they volunteer for.
Okay, got you. So, are you one of the judges at these competitions?
I'm more the coach and MC.
Okay. Okay.
So
Got you.
I help them prepare their pitches. I co-created the program
Okay,
that they
wow.
are participating in all
Yeah.
year long. And then I work and identify the judges who are going to come in.
Okay,
So we
gotcha.
had some pretty impressive
Yeah.
powerhouses, and it was an awesome event.
What was the idea that stuck out to you the most?
There was one that was focused on a national park.
Okay.
That is one of the least visited national parks
Wow.
in the country.
So that means I probably haven't heard of it.
You probably haven't heard of
Tell me-
it.
tell me
It's
the
called
name.
6 Rivers.
I have not heard of that one.
But it is some of the most, I think it is responsible for over a third of the water supply in the
Really?
state of California. Some of the most
that, wow.
gorgeous landscape you've ever seen.
Okay.
And so they were wanting to have more visitors come to the
Okay.
park. So their pitch was to design a more user-friendly, navigable map system
Okay,
that
gotcha.
is friendly for children, friendly for people who want to come in with pets. It's such a massive area.
Yeah, of course.
And the map that is currently available costs $28,
Okay.
and it's not really very
Yeah,
enticing
yeah,
to
yeah,
use, and so you don't know how to start.
Okay, gotcha.
So they got fully funded.
Wow,
and,
congrats to them.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
gonna create a good program.
A good program. So for the people who might not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you
Sure.
came to the entrepreneurship center?
Sure. So I always say that I came in the back door
Okay.
to entrepreneurship.
Okay, haven't heard that one before.
It was not my intention. I went to college to be a school teacher.
Okay.
I wanted to teach, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
I was not career ambitious.
Yeah.
I was family ambitious.
Of course.
And I got to stay home with my kids for 10 years, which was amazing.
That's phenomenal.
I've never traded for anything.
Yeah.
While I was home with my kids, I happened to start my first company.
Okay. Happened to start.
It
Okay.
was, I was very fortunate. My husband supported me staying home.
Okay.
Which
awesome.
meant that I didn't have the pressure that most entrepreneurs have of having to make the financial aspect work immediately.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I was able to experiment
Uh-huh.
and try things without some of that pressure.
Gotcha.
So it was very, very lucky.
Okay. Cool.
At the time, I had a 3-year-old.
Okay.
I had a 2-year-old.
Wow.
And I had a newborn.
Wow.
That one over there.
Okay. Hey, the baby.
She was a baby. So I didn't have a lot of time,
Yeah, of course.
obviously, to figure this stuff out. And I had no experience. I really didn't have any business starting a company. But the world was alive at night.
Yeah.
And so I would have a computer, and it just by happenstance, this is where luck comes in a lot
Okay.
for people. Social media was just coming out of the colleges and becoming
okay.
available to the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for anybody that's watching that's young, you won't remember this, but there was an era where there was no advertising on
Yeah.
social media. You could connect with thought leaders around the world,
100%.
and it was a really awesome, exciting space.
Yeah.
And so I learned that I could utilize it to
Okay.
leverage and market my company.
Okay. Cool.
And since my company was a baby company,
Yeah.
I didn't have any risk,
Ah,
right? So
gotcha.
it wasn't like I could really mess it up.
Yeah.
But I used it as a way to learn
Okay, gotcha.
social media. And it was really connected to how my education background, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's amazing.
During that phase, that company, I was on a couple of TV shows.
Okay.
Just got picked up.
Wow.
Luckily, these are shows that don't really exist
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
I was actually selected for the first season of Shark Tank. I chose not to do it.
Why? Why not Shark Tank?
Well, the contract was really bad.
Really?
Yes, I've heard it's gotten way better.
Well, tell us the deal. Tell us how the contracts have improved compared to what they sent you.
Well, I'm grateful that even with no business sense, I was smart enough to say no to it,
Okay,
to
good.
be honest,
That's good,
because the way the early contract was written was they would have had rights to my future businesses and profits.
Oh, wow.
Even unrelated businesses.
Okay, wow.
And
That's
so
horrible.
that was a little excessive.
That's sharky of them. You
Yeah,
know?
it was,
It's
they were good. And
very, very sharky.
thank
of them.
God I said no, because I would have gotten eaten alive. Like, I
Yeah,
did not have any
yeah.
business sense knowing what,
Yeah.
you know.
So that first company that you started, what exactly, like, was there a pain point that you were trying to solve, or like what exactly did it do?
So that company, my husband and I went to his best friend's wedding,
Okay.
and they were getting married in New York. They were a couple who had kind of 2 apartments. They had all the things they needed,
Yeah,
like
of course.
newlywed couples. They didn't need
Yeah,
a
yeah.
toaster or whatever. It was my husband's best friend.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something really special for them.
Okay.
But we were poor, starving people in
Yeah.
New York. And so what we came up with was an idea where we gave them a gift a month that was
Oh my goodness.
themed around like a date. So
Wow.
it was a memory book that we created
Okay,
where
cool.
we sent them on a date idea. They
Yeah.
opened a gift for that theme, like sports theme or
Yeah.
whatever it was, you know. And then they also projected, like, where do we want to be a year from now?
Okay.
Where were we a year ago? So it became like this really neat memory.
Okay.
But we took it to a great wedding, and it was beautifully designed. And so people started asking them about it. And they reached out to me and said, hey, people are asking about this.
Yeah.
Maybe you should think about making it a business.
Okay, got you. And then you
started
did that.
from there.
You did that, and then it seems like you fell in love with entrepreneurship. Can you talk about, like, how was it, you say, growing that first company? Because usually that's always the hardest part, but it seems like, you know, you knocked it out of the park.
Well, I failed. I totally failed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
guys.
business
Okay.
totally failed.
Okay.
But it was an awesome education for me. It taught me so much, and it opened so many doorways for me
Yeah.
that never would have been possible without it. It failed because I didn't understand the financial structure that I needed to put in place to scale a business.
Okay, got you.
So I was kind of thinking from this mentality of like, well, me as a poor or early stage person, like, what would I be willing to pay for something?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand, like, how do you build in pricing that can scale so you can hire employees, and so that
Wow, okay.
so all of those things were really big learning curves for me. I never studied or paid attention to marketing in college, but it turned out that I kept leaning into and spending my energy and time and having success with marketing.
With marketing. Okay,
And
wow.
so that then led to the next company I started, which was a social media agency.
Wow. Okay, that social media agencies are bigger now than ever. How did I guess so? One thing I would say from, let's say, entrepreneurship perspective, sometimes, especially if it's your first crack at it, the failures can be like really, really big and really, really dark. How are you able to navigate those hard times where you did have to kind of look and be like, man, like, this isn't going to work out anymore? Sometimes with entrepreneurship, or a lot of times, it's very hard to part with those first ventures. So how are you able to do that, but then also translate that into more success and other successful companies?
I think more than anything, I tried to do things that I believed in.
Okay.
With integrity.
Yeah.
And also with a really open mind to learn.
Okay.
I knew I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, of course.
It was very
obvious.
obvious.
Of course.
So I just kept kind of pushing forward and had the mindset that, well, if I don't do anything, nothing will happen. If I do a little thing, then something will happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be, but something will come of that. And being a mom at home with 3 kids, and like, you know, I was lucky if I got a shower some days. So to just have this little thing that was kind of something I'd look forward to at night after everybody went to bed, and a way to keep learning and growing, that was what inspired me and kept me going. But that also, that perpetual desire to learn is a through line no matter what you do.
Got you. And the question that I wanted to ask you earlier, which I'm so happy you brought that up. So you seem that you were drawn to marketing, right? That was the space that really stuck to you. At least for me, let's say in some of my business right now, I'm trying to scale a mobile application because I'm all about having conversations like this and bringing people together. I can talk to a wall, right? That's one thing that all my friends always say, like, I just never shut up. So especially with a lot of people in Gen Z, the art of connecting is not the same as it used to be because of social media. So any ideas, any products that come to my brain always be centered around people, right? Sometimes that might be hard. In your journey, or in yourself as an entrepreneur, but also other entrepreneurs, is that true that all their businesses tend to be tied into, like, I guess, their heart's passion, or is it different for everybody?
I think it's different for everyone. Some people have just a natural aptitude at seeing opportunity and leaping on that opportunity. So when we started the social media company, it was me and 2 other women that co-founded it. And one of those women, we were the 10th company she had started. So I was very, very fortunate to get to be brought into that.
10th company.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Gosh.
For her, what I observed from the outside, I don't know what she would tell you, but my observation was she understood the mechanisms that it took to build, scale, grow, and exit companies.
Of course.
And so it seemed like she would just see all the pieces and, like, bring them together. I was just, I got to be one of those pieces. But I got to learn under a great mentor in that.
Okay. And was she like, was she always like that, or is she just...
I don't know. I just met her going into... Well, I met her right before that with my first company.
Oh, that's how... Yeah, I was going to ask, how'd you get connected to her?
Yeah.
That seems like, brilliant.
I met her in that first company.
Okay.
And then at the early stages of social media, I lived in a town called Richmond, Virginia.
Awesome.
Shout out to Richmond.
Shout out Richmond.
It's a great place to be, and it's also a really amazing environment for getting to meet people very quickly. So if you go to networking events 2 or 3 times, you're going to start seeing the same people.
Gotcha.
You're going to get connected.
Gotcha.
And people are really supportive. They want to help each other in that community, and they want the whole community to thrive. And so that was a benefit. Just, luck. That was where I was. But I saw Karen talk, and I think I went up to her and just said, hey, I've got this company. It seems like you know what you're doing. Would you give me advice? And she was really great, and she was really honest, and it wasn't honest in the favor of, like, keep going with that company. It's a good idea. Like, I don't think that's where you need to go. But somehow we got connected. I ended up doing a lot of, like, meetups around social media in the community. And so people started to know me as a person. I did what was called Coffee with Kendall at the time. And we would just, like, I'd pluck a topic out of the air of what was trending in social and just try to help people learn how to leverage it and use it.
Wow.
And so she knew me that way. And then the other co-founder, I had worked with her because she had her own company. And she had gone down the route of funding.
Like with investors and things.
With investors. And with the company I had, I wanted to understand if I wanted to go down that route. And so I helped this woman with her marketing. And with the idea that I would learn by being inside the company if that pathway was a good one. And I kind of discovered that wasn't the path I wanted to go down. So it was great. I created a strong connection and relationship with her. And then that happened to be 2008. The bottom fell out of the market, and things really changed. And her company and my company were both luxury items, so that was hurt a lot in that fallout of the market. And so she went on her way, but she had a great relationship with the CMO of Verizon, and so she started doing consulting for him. She asked me, like, what do you think? I don't know, they're getting, like, eaten alive on social media. They're terrible there. And that started, like, her relationship there started this opportunity to start a social media agency. So Verizon was our first client.
Wow. I mean, that is amazing.
Luck.
Again, well, it seems like I wouldn't necessarily call luck, because you keep putting yourself in the situation, so when lucky things happen, you're already in, like, the right moment, the right time. You know?
Yes.
To
You're
a degree.
open to it. You
got to be open to it, you know? So your second company was social media. Now, with how social media has progressed, what, let's say, would you say are some of the differences? Do you think the company that you created then, could that still stay alive in today's social media age, or not as much?
I think it could. It was fascinating to me at that era. I loved it because it was Wild West. Like, nobody knew the rules. I didn't have a marketing background, and I could thrive in that environment.
Of course.
And, we got to do wild things. Like the first national picketing of a company was organized over social media. So
wow. What do you mean by picketing?
So all of the people who worked for Verizon, they were negotiating their rates, right?
Okay,
so
gotcha.
like the teachers are striking right now.
The
The union, thank you.
Gotcha.
So the union strike for Verizon employees, it was the first organized union strike that got organized through social media. So the union used social media as a back-end tool. So that was really fascinating. Like we had to be on the phone with Google and with Facebook because people were publishing the CEO's phone number and saying they were going to go to his house putting like threats online.
Of course.
And so it was stuff that was unprecedented. We didn't have a rule book for it. So we actually had to have teams that were working not just for that, but for a couple other situations that happened in social media at the time. It was like shift work, like nurses. It was like 4-hour shift work that I had people around the clock who were monitoring and managing all of the things that were happening in real time.
Wow.
Because it was also before a lot of the tools were there.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely like what you're saying, like Wild Wild West. Because I feel like now the thought of starting a business without social media presence is like, I feel like now is unheard of. You know?
Yeah, oh, yes. I think what I loved about it at that phase was it was about connecting with human beings.
Yeah.
It was not driven by advertising dollars.
Yeah.
It was really interesting and authentic, but also surprising.
Yeah.
People were coming up with super creative ideas.
Yeah,
we just had the Super Bowl here. Well, we had live Super Bowl parties on social media where we had like live artists doing things and
things like that,
pushing stuff out on Twitter within 10 seconds.
Of course.
Like reacting in real time. So it was really fun and interesting time to be doing that. I don't love all of the evolution of it now because it's
crazy. It's
less
crazy.
Human connection to me.
I feel like social media now is very, very performative, where you kind of know exactly. Let's say rather than trying to connect with somebody, it's like, well, how many people are going to see this connection that I'm trying to make?
Right.
You know, and it takes it away from authenticity. But, since everybody's on it and those numbers are only going to increase, then there's just always going to be really lots of opportunities on it. So it's like double-edged sword,
Well, and as, a parent, using it to grow a business that was helping our family.
Yeah.
And then watching my children and trying to restrict them from using it, is an interesting dichotomy. And we're still in that right now. We're still
100%.
learning what are the places that it's really valuable and very useful, and then what are the places that we want to think differently about how we use it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a good example because I'm actually going through something similar right now. So my younger cousin does like these amazing clay sculptures, right? And I post every single day on social media. I'm trying to grow my account. And one of his clips has been going viral for me, right? But he's not on social media at all. But now based off of the virality and people DMing us being like, I want to buy this right now, I'm going to create a business off of it. But he's not on social media at all, So it's just interesting where it's like, they do have those restrictions, but also what if like people in the comments were like, well, why doesn't he create his own account, right? Because like that could be a great opportunity for him, right? But there's also the other side of it that they don't want to expose their kids to yet, So it's an interesting dynamic. Something that I also wanted to ask you. So compared to your first venture, compared to this one, you were working with a team of people, right? So there was 3 co-founders of this company, correct? How was that dynamic between being a solo founder and working in a team? And for anybody watching out there, let's say somebody is, just a one-man show, what would be some of the benefits of working alone? Also, what would be some of the benefits of working with a group of people?
Okay. So I should clarify, the first company I co-founded with my mom.
Oh, okay.
Which was awesome.
Okay.
So she...
Keep it in the family.
She believed in me, and it was a great way for us to stay connected. I was on the East Coast, she was on the West Coast, and we had this kind of shared goal that we were doing together. And that was an amazing opportunity, but she was pretty cool about like not putting a ton of... She wasn't an investor like putting a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah, of course.
My second company, I had 2 co-founders.
Yeah.
I needed that so badly because I had so little knowledge.
Gotcha.
And to be able to learn from other people who had done much more than I had and had better connections and just better experience gave me such an accelerator to learning and access to things that I would have sunk the company on my own.
Gotcha.
That then, put me in a position where now I am a solo entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I founded my fourth company.
Okay.
And that company is one that I'm really hope I do the rest of my life.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm very passionate about. So the benefit of having co-founders is amazing.
Okay.
If they're the right co-founders.
How do you know when they're not?
You know pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They tell you that if you hire people and you feel like it's not right, cut that off quickly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
There's a lot of pain that your entire team will feel if you don't make hard decisions. And I think that's one of the things entrepreneurs struggle with the most is making hard decisions. We care about people. We are doing the work we're doing because we care.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's never fun or easy to have to tell someone they're not living up to the expectations. Yeah. But if you're really trying to drive the outcome for your business, you need to make those decisions. Business partners is harder because you're getting married to your business partner.
Honestly.
You have legal documentation that makes it a lot harder. You can't just sever those ties as easily. So, listen to your gut and try to understand what the dynamic is that you bring to the table and they bring to the table, and where your personal and professional lives are going to end up merging in some respects.
Of course.
Sometimes it's things that you can't control. Somebody gets ill. Somebody has to move across the country, or things that are out of your control. Yeah. But oftentimes I think it's things that we just don't want to admit to ourselves. Like, I could see that coming, but... Yeah. So I would say going it alone is hard. Yeah. It's hard because you don't have somebody to always bounce ideas off of. You don't have somebody to be pushing back on you and check you. Yeah, of course. Because it's not like we have all the right answers, right?
No, especially when you're starting out. Because one of the things I wanted to ask you is that, so let's say, because a lot of people that watch the channel, they're first-time founders, or they're too scared, not too scared, they're thinking about maybe starting a couple of their first ideas, right? So you mentioned something that's good when that's forming your team or deciding to go alone. Trust your gut, right? But let's say your gut hasn't brought you any success yet because it's your first time at it. Yeah. How would you then know who to turn to? Because your gut might be telling you to do something, but maybe it's only after you meet that person who founded 10 companies, it's like, man, that was a terrible idea. Right. My gut told me, go for it. For the people listening out there, how should they go about that when they are just starting their entrepreneurial journey?
I think it's a couple things. You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Okay. So if you have a deep-seated passion or observation about a need that is unmet out there, and other people aren't really verifying that or validating it, there's usually two reasons for that. One is you see something that nobody else sees, and you are uniquely positioned to be the person to bring that to the market, and you have to fight against a bit of a current for a while until you bring others along. Okay. So it's okay to be that person swimming upstream if you really do have a solid, good idea. Okay. The market starts to validate that for you.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes people who are the most experienced don't see that. Yeah. So you have to know how to discern all this feedback that's coming to you and decide okay, do I still see clues that are telling me to persist? The other is you don't have a good idea. Yeah. And a lot of people can see that for you and want to save you the energy and the money and the effort. And it's hard when you're a novice to know the difference. So I would say go to networking events where there's lots of entrepreneurs. Go to places where other people are just excited about sharing ideas and willing to bounce them off of each other in a safe, friendly environment. Gotcha. And you'll learn a lot quickly.
Okay, gotcha. So one thing that's synonymous with entrepreneurship is, everybody sees, let's say, some of these movies where what success looks like. And I think in the realm of entrepreneurship, it's either falling in love with the journey or maybe it's crazy outcome and you're the next Google, Facebook. So you're a person that's exited, I think, 2 companies now. What does success look like? Is it in the work that you're doing, or is it kind of when you exit? And how does that differ in kind of when you're starting? Because I know for some entrepreneurs, they start businesses with the goal of exiting them. Sure. Some people, like you now, start businesses with the goal of maybe hopefully working in this forever.
I mean, I can't predict what anyone else's success is. Yeah. You have to define that for yourself. And for me, I didn't go into entrepreneurship looking for an exit. I really didn't even fully grasp what that meant and was possible in that. I started because it was something interesting to do.
Okay.
And it was an opportunity that worked within the lifestyle that I had and allowed me other things that I wanted. That being said, being lucky enough to go through an exit, it is amazing to be able to now have choice and optionality in my life that I couldn't have had
beforehand.
Yes. And so that gives me some peace of mind. It allows me to invest in the work I'm doing right now, which is really not nearly as financially lucrative, but it's driving a mission that I believe is really important and gives me the runway to push through that. But for other people, that's not what it is. Like success is hitting, the unicorn company and having some of those accolades.
Gotcha. So a lot of people, let's say they exit and they run to the hills, they set up in the sunset. You started another third company, right?
So I've started 4 companies.
You started 4.
The social media company, we sold.
Yeah.
One time, but I stayed with it.
Oh, you stayed with it?
So I stayed in the acquiring company for 2 years.
Okay, cool.
And during that time, what happened was I was having observations of interviewing candidates for our jobs. So we were growing quickly. We were now beyond social. We were a digital company, kind of incorporating web and development work in with marketing. And I was interviewing people very quickly and often, and I was starting to see patterns in behavior of people who on paper looked great. Yeah. And I was so excited to meet them. And they were good people. They were smart people. But I couldn't offer them jobs. And what started to happen was this frustration for me, and I felt badly for them. Why couldn't I offer them jobs? They've done all the things society had said to do. Go to college, get good grades, They weren't ready to be dropped into a company like ours that didn't have a huge infrastructure and training and onboarding and be effective quickly. And that was because a lot of the things we were doing were ambiguous. We didn't know the answers. It wasn't like a correct, ABC answer.
Or policy or procedure to follow. Yeah.
Well, I just thought that was because our company was growing quickly and less organized, and that was our fault. But all of our clients were Fortune 500s. It was Capital One, it was Verizon, it was National Geographic. And the more I talked to the executives at those companies, the more I learned that they were having the exact same talent problems as we were, but they had really robust recruiting, they had really robust training and onboarding. So it wasn't just that.
Okay, what was it?
It was, I think, a product of how our young people are being prepared right now. And that preparation isn't leaving a lot of room for experimentation, for freedom to fail, for practical application. Yeah. It's more theory and academic. And if I'm a young person right now aspiring and striving to get into a great college, then I don't have a lot of room to
try and fail.
No.
Yeah.
I have to get into this math class in 5th grade, so I'm tracked for this. So, And so what my husband and I decided was that selfishly, we wanted our own kids to start a company before they graduated college. Wow. Not because we thought they were going to be entrepreneurs, but because we thought that was the best educational experience we could give them to complement what they were doing in school.
I think that's so amazing. Because starting in my own company, you do just learn so much just on the fly by looking at the numbers, looking at people that you're working with, trying to hire people and being like, man, this is the worst decision ever. Like my first venture, which was this talk show, but back when we had the whole studio show, you learn to cut quickly because we had a couple of people on the team. I was like, man, like they were this crazy talented person, but like working with them is the biggest headache. And I feel like I can't even hold them accountable because they can't take what I have to tell them. And then you're kind of just stuck, right? I would not have known that unless I started something on my own, right? Like even like, for example, this current venture, right? TrueSpark AI that I'm building and that we're scaling. I won't know, let's say maybe leading into another venture until this is over. Maybe it's not over. Maybe we're able to keep going, but maybe we're not, right? So I think that is such an amazing thing that you're doing. And I think also for people watching out there, entrepreneurship is scary, right? But you do learn a lot by failing and just trying and doing. And one thing that happens a lot in school that's unfortunate is that there isn't much room for growth. At least for my own journey, it wasn't necessarily that school matches up to what you're going to be expecting after you graduate, but you're not necessarily... Oh, that's my for the other company that we're starting. There's not enough room for failure, but in the failure, that's when you're gonna grow the most. You know, so try things now. If you are still in college listening to this is the best time to do it because you're surrounded by co-founders. Because everybody in college is young and you have nothing to lose, right? And also, if you're parent watching this, I know we got those in the audience as well. Get your kids to start companies as well because they will learn so much more doing that than they might even learn in school. So, yeah, I really love that you guys are doing that. Yeah. So, was that the other company that you started, or?
So the social media company merged into a digital company. Okay. I stayed with that for 2 years. Okay. Started having these observations. Yes. So while I was there, since I was no longer CEO and running the company, I was a leadership role, but I had a lot less responsibility. Okay. I had more time and energy, and my mind was unsettled. And so I started the company that I run now, Founders Mark. Okay. On the side. Okay. Started first with my 3 kids. They all started a company together. Awesome. And they did an amazing job. Okay. And from that, I had a client at Capital One who knew what we were doing. She and I were speaking at South by Southwest together. And while we were there hanging out at South by Southwest, sharing conversations, my kids were texting me constantly the names of their company and like logos they had drawn. Okay. And she's a CMO, and so she was like super excited about it. She was like, "This is so cool." And so Amy said, "You have to figure out how to bring this to more kids." And I wasn't thinking that way. I was just selfishly thinking of my own kids.
Yeah, of course.
And that challenge, you know, she wouldn't let it go. She kept bugging me about it and saying, "You need to keep figuring this out." And so we had said, okay, what did I do with my kids? You know, I can take their phone away at dinner time. I can hold them accountable. Yeah, of course. I don't know if other kids would want to do this. Yeah. And we had an organization in Richmond that at the time was called Mayor's Youth Academy. It was supported through the mayor's office, and it helped kids who did not have as much opportunity have access to things. Okay. They took a bet on us, and they were willing to let us try a pilot program. And so we had a dozen high school students from around the area who came in. Yeah. And I taught the class for the first program. I taught everything. Okay, cool. And so I'd leave my other company and go after school and teach these kids. And it was awesome. Like they wanted to do it. They were succeeding. Yeah. We were seeing all these great signals. But it was very clear I couldn't reach very many kids. Gotcha. In that format. Gotcha. And so it just over time evolved, and we now serve 3rd grade through college age. Okay. And we've developed train the trainer models. All of our curriculum lives in an online platform so that our trained coaches can then deliver that to kids across the country. Wow. And then when kids are in your program, right, what does success look like for them? You know, that's a great question, because most people want to focus on the kids that are making the most money and, you know, building businesses. That's not what we measure success by. Okay. Because we are not focused on the kids that are just going to be the next entrepreneurs. We believe these skills, durable skills, are the skills that every single person needs to succeed in the future, especially as fast as it's changing and we can't predict where it's going. Education has a really hard time keeping up with that. Yeah. And instead of trying to keep up with that, we want to empower all these kids with agency. Okay. We want them to understand how to problem solve, to have creativity, to have collaboration, to have grit. Yeah, of course. To understand economics at a base level so they can make good decision making and understand how it's influenced. And that is really important, whether they go into public service, whether they start a company, whether they work for a company. Yeah. Those skills are relevant. And so what we judge success by is, did we take them from where we met them and move them ahead? And for some kids, that is life-changing in a financial way. Yeah. Some of the kids that we work with are coming from really challenging situations. Yeah, of course. And something as simple as starting a brownie business in 6th grade can change their perception of what is possible, what they are capable of. It empowers them as a young person, when a lot of, I think, the young people think, well, when I grow up, when I graduate. When. And we are saying no now.
That's amazing.
You have power now.
Yeah, that is so amazing.
And that might be public service.
Yeah.
So some of our programs are focused on social impact work, and some of our programs are focused on entrepreneurship.
Okay, gotcha. So on the show we have a section called Locker Room Moment, and I want to ask you 2 questions. So there's this thing where it says entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Would you agree or disagree with that statement, and why?
Great question.
Thank you.
I want everyone to have the experience of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Do you need to be an entrepreneur for your career? No. And I don't think everybody should.
Okay.
But I think it shapes the way that we think and problem solve and see the world.
Okay.
And if you aren't exposed to those different pressure points, you don't have a holistic way of understanding where your greatest impact is.
Okay.
So, for example, I wanted to be a school teacher. I wanted to save the world, and I believed 100%. Education was the path to do it. I had zero financial sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was strong in math, so I would just ignore that. And so it never even occurred to me, like, well, how does the school run? How do you get more programs in the school? What is the financial implication?
Yeah, of course.
Because that wasn't my job, right? Now, as an entrepreneur, having to be the person who has to decide.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a really different perspective on how to help organizations, because even the things that I'm weakest at, I now have enough knowledge to ask questions about or bring in experts on.
Gotcha.
And so that's where I think entrepreneurship is for everyone, is it rounds out the areas that we're weak in, and it elevates the areas that we're strong in.
Okay, gotcha. And then the last question that I wanted to ask you is that, so some people, especially let's say when they get older in life, because taking entrepreneurship is a risk, right? Especially if you're putting, let's say, money on the table, right? So I could think about, say, to my company, right, with Choose Park AI, which pretty much what we do is that Gen Z, they're not approaching people anymore. They're not connecting the way. Dating apps take over everything, to the point where you always think there's another option around the corner. When the person right in front of you, you're not paying them any mind, because all you're thinking about is, man, what about the person that, I matched with earlier today, Maybe I should have hit them up. And also, since everybody's growing up in an increased digital presence, the same skills that you're building, let's say back in the day, they don't exist anymore, because you're never really getting it. Like, I walk around the street and you see all these kids who are just like this, glued to their phone, right? The whole world's happening around them, and they're just glued to it. So I started a company where an AI model gives a personalized opener response to help form romantic connections. We're trying to go up against the dating apps. We're trying to go up against like Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, a lot of, let's say, DMing people, where it's like, man, if you like somebody, go up to them and ask them a question. And it's the whole common sense isn't common. So that's what we're currently scaling right now. It's called True Sprite Guy. If you're listening, go check it out in the App Store. But with that in mind, and taking risk, where there's a chance, let's say, from an entrepreneur, like, if this doesn't work out, right, then how would you handle, or how would I best handle, or anybody who's listening in a similar situation, like the prospect, like, man, like, I might have to get a job now, right? But I know deep down in my heart, like, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, when I'm working for employers and things like that, I'm always thinking, like, oh, like, that's an issue. How can I solve that, or what can we build off of that? So how would they navigate that risk that comes with being an entrepreneur, when you also got to eat, you got to put food on the table, you got to live life at the same time, which that's when it gets hard. So how, I know that was a loaded thing, but honest advice.
Well, first of all, I'm so glad I'm not dating.
Okay.
I have a great husband that I met many, many years ago, and we met the old-fashioned way.
Awesome.
And
in person.
Well, I was his waitress, but
amazing.
He did have the courage to come up and say hi to me.
Yes.
And, it worked out. I don't envy you guys.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah, they don't do it anymore.
The thing I would say about taking that leap and risk of being an entrepreneur, it's never going to be bad skills. Like, you are progressing, you are learning. Yeah. Every company I've ever gone to and talked to, they want those skills in their company.
Gotcha.
So as long as you are learning while you're doing it,
of course,
and you're not taking a risk to the point that you are living on the street.
Yeah.
Right? Course. Like, where your threshold is.
Yeah.
I know tons of people who work at great Fortune 500 companies and get laid off routinely.
Yeah.
That is not safe either.
No, it's not.
And we have this false sense that it is. But when we can control our destiny with having this robust set of skills, that I know if I do get laid off,
you'll be
I
fine.
can go do something else
Yeah.
because I have the ability to innovate independently, collaborate with other people, or go add value as a consultant, as a part-time. So I feel like entrepreneurship has given me a more stable base to have a career path than just being tied to a company that is kind of owning my trajectory or future.
Gotcha. That was a big thing for my whole journey into it, because so my dad, he was pretty big up in Dropbox and tech companies, but he never started his own business. And as a family, it was hard to watch where, you know, he's like, my boss has just been like weird with me recently, and that would lead to like a pink slip or something. And then you're just like, wow, like what do you do? So the whole led me to the whole thing of autonomy of yourself, which you get with entrepreneurship. So I think that's why I'm on the journey where I'm like, man, like, you know, when you do have those skills, like it's not that you don't need anybody else, but I can always create opportunity because I'm a problem solver. When you see opportunity, I think for a lot of people, it's just really, really good because, you really do control your own destiny, because it was hard to watch sometimes where, you know, like you're a kid and you're like, man, your dad's your superhero. So the fact that somebody might not like him to the point where they're going to take away his ability to earn, and then there's nothing after that, that's like, oh, like, I don't want that.
I will say the closest that happens in entrepreneurship, at least in my experience, is you can have clients who overnight flip.
Really?
And you don't necessarily know why.
Okay,
maybe you really messed up and there was never a good enough relationship that they told you, or maybe something completely out of your and their control changes. So there are always moments in entrepreneurship that are unpredictable and out of your control.
I had a moment where, so for the app, we signed an influencer, and we paid him a bunch of money up front, and then next thing you know, we're blocked, and he took all our money.
So what'd you learn?
Don't pay so much up front, and then also pay after the work is completed. That's what we learned.
And like review your contracts.
We reviewed the contract and like all that stuff, but it was just, he has like, it was one of those moments where we signed him and it was like we jumped for joy. So it's like, well, if we come after him, it's like, he's gonna be like, all right, what are you gonna do, you know?
I will say the one thing about entrepreneurship is I've never had a higher high and a lower low. Like within 60 minutes. And
yes.
Whiplash, how does this happen?
It's okay, that's another question. How do you deal with the emotional roller coaster? Because I tell you, 1 second you are on top of the world, you're like this. The other time you're just like in a ball kind of, you're like, oh my gosh, like.
And it can be the same day.
The same day, within the same hour, you know? How do you handle that?
I was lucky enough to have a couple of sets of friends. So I had my entrepreneurship group of friends. So I had other founders, not in my company, who we were experiencing and dealing with similar challenges. So they would be people who I could go to and they would like understand. And they would give me advice about what worked for them or what didn't. But also equally importantly, I had great sets of friends who could care less what I did. They didn't care at all what my work was. And I think as an entrepreneur, it's too easy to get wrapped up in this like grind and hustle, and you think that's the whole world, and it's not.
It's not.
We're doing something in a little part of the world, and we're trying our best. But if it goes away tomorrow, the world will still keep going, and people will still care about us. And you need those people in your life as much or more than the team that you're working with, because they love you no matter what.
And how do people go about finding those? Because another thing about entrepreneurship is that, especially now, I would say in the digital age, it's there's this big emphasis on surround yourself by people that are like-minded or that are striving for the same things. So does that contradict kind of some of a similar statement that you said, where you can be surrounding yourself by people that they're not entrepreneurial, right? They're not starting these businesses. But there's also these people, like even me coming here to SF is because everybody that's in my environment started their own business. That was the reason why I came here. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think you need both.
You need a balance.
So finding, some people, you don't need a lot in the entrepreneur field that you can really share everything with. You need a few. That are gonna still like look out for you and help you and lift you up when you're going through hard things. I've got a couple people who have been my go-to, and if I text them at 1 a.m. because crisis is happening, they are gonna like pick up the phone and help me out.
Awesome.
But cultivating whatever other side of your life, whether you're sports person, or for me, I was a parent, and that was like the most important thing in anything I did. So my parent friends were an outlet that they didn't want to talk about what I did at work.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We talked about like what the kids were doing and
gotcha.
what we were doing that weekend, and having an outlet that is really supportive outside of that work. Your brain works better when you get a break. Yeah. And so if you only focus and obsess on the business, you're actually hurting your business.
One thing we'll leave the people with, if you are a person who's watching, you're thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, you're not sure where to find your idea, you're not sure if this route for you, what's the one final message that you would leave them with?
I think you just have to try. If you take a step forward, you're going to learn something one way or the other. It's going to be a positive for you in learning. And you might not find the right thing right away, but you're going to be able to know that you didn't leave it out there on the table, and you're not going to have regrets about that. And you're also going to learn something about yourself that is going to help you in the next step in your journey.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Guys, once again, this was Live with Ty. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more inspiring stories that's going to help you create your dream life. Okay, that's a wrap. You crushed that. How'd you like it?